like, are we gonna be? We're gonna be at least.
PM. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. All right, we're going to do a quick roll call. Mr. Barton.
Here.
Mr. Freshair.
Here.
Dr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Chapman.
Here.
Dr. May.
Here.
Everybody's good? We'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have no delegations, so we are to reports, and we have a report from the Gilmer County Public Library. So, yep.
So Heather Coleman is the director at the public library. I have the opportunity to serve there on the board of trustees. And so I've asked her to come this evening and share two main ideas. One is the flooring project. I don't know if you've been in the facility since that has been redone, but she has some information she'll share. And then also the summer program is up and running at the public library, and she wants to share some information about that. Heather and I spend a lot of time in conversations, ideas, plans. Again, there's a lot of programming happening at the public library that our children, our students are welcome to be a part of. And if you haven't physically been there in the last several months, I would encourage you to go and visit and see the public library. And I'm now going to turn it over to Heather Coleman, our director.
Thank you so much, Jerry. I only have 3 copies of the flooring
replacement rejuvenation project, so I have to have you share while you check those out. But that project, I feel that was a very successful project. We've had a ton of great feedback from the community, and you'll notice a couple of little extra things in there, like the tree that is now part of the support beam in the center of Route 1, which is the children's library area. Put a lot of effort into the children's library area to make it more accessible and accommodating, inviting, and comfortable. That's probably it was a big aspect of my focus as we rebuilt everything. This project was a complete tear down rebuild. We completely emptied the library, took the shelves off the walls, removed all the books from the facility. We cleaned every last inch. We found some really neat stuff there. You'll notice in the presentation there are pictures of some of the old library cards that we found under the shelves, some old piece of carpet that looked like it was from the 70s, things like that. So we plan to make a little shadow box out of that. Now that project has actually been completed for a year. We finished it in March of 2024. If you haven't made it into the facility yet, I do encourage you to come in and see it firsthand. It's really quite beautiful, and I think the community has been really happy, and the kids love it. They love the trees, they love the children's library space, and we get mostly all positive feedback from that. So I just wanted to share with you, to thank you again for your support during that project. Thank you for all your support. The board has been so supportive from day one. I just had my 2-year anniversary in this position. So that's been, a lot has happened in the last 2 years. I know I have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to give you a chance to have any questions about the flooring project. I can actually give the board one copy of the booklet if you'd like to keep a copy for your records. And I can make more. I'm just down to 3. We distributed those around. So we're very proud of that project, and we do think it has made a difference in many ways. So the flooring presentation. If you don't have any questions, I'd love to go ahead and start talking to you about our summer reading program. Now, when I came in, this is actually my 3rd summer reading program because it started in April of 2023. So I came into the position, hit the ground running. We had just weeks to put together a summer reading program. So what I want to show you now is that this year, I think I've got a better handle on what I need to do now. And our summer reading program is actually sponsored by the West Virginia Library Commission. What you've got there before you are the documents that we've used. We did an early registration this year. The children registered by the 15th of May. They received a backpack with their name on it and a beautiful symbol for the summer reading program. And then we gave them a selection of goodies in their backpack when they came in this last week to get their backpack. We had the parents signing the different permissions and releases, and then we filled their backpacks and explained the program to them. You'll notice that the early registration, we had 44 backpacks total with their names on it. So that's more, we've had more registered this year because of the early registration initiative than we had the 2 years prior. So I think that worked well. The freebies were a little reading buddy, a bookmark, a pinwheel, an array of different things that they could have for free. Everybody got an event calendar, of course. Now you'll notice those event calendars are front and back. There's 9 weeks of programming, and that's all of June and all of July, culminating with our Harry Potter's birthday party on July 31st, which is actually one of our largest events. We will most likely see up to 50 plus people attend that event. Easy. We have to close off all of room 2. And people come from neighboring counties for that as well. So that has become very popular. Now the reading log, you'll see there, you got a copy of the reading log. They use that to document all of their reading. And this year we're going by pages. If you're in the 4th grade or up, you are awarded points based off the nearest 100 pages. We're rounding to the 100. This is leveling the playing field for our older readers because our 3rd grade and under, 1 book, 1 point. Simple. But with the older readers, especially our
avid readers who are in 8th and 9th grade, they're reading 300 and 400 page books. It's not fair for that to only be worth 1 point. So if your book is 400 pages, you're getting 4 points for that. And you'll see the rules in there. I won't go into any more explanation for that. You can check that out. But the points and the coins are what they'll use to buy the prizes. And this year we've got some wonderful prizes, and the kids are very excited about that. So so far this week, we have had over 180 people walk through the door of the library from Monday to Saturday last week. That's close to 60 more than our average on a week. So we see a huge influx that first week of summer reading. Right now, we have 64 individuals signed up for our summer reading program. It's a really big number for us. And that number will increase. This is including all the early registrants, plus those who've registered in the last week. I can guarantee you we will most likely reach 70, pretty close. Again, 180 patrons came through the door the first week of summer reading program, and that's 9 weeks of programming for children, teens, and adults this year. And we have also extended the reading program to some of our adult avid readers as well, so they can have some fun with it. Do you have any questions about our summer reading program? I'd love to come back in the 1st of August and share a slideshow with you with everything that we've done for summer reading. We take a lot of pictures. We post those on Facebook. Anytime, if you're on Facebook, if you can like and share those, that does help promote the summer reading program. So we appreciate all that support.
My nephew liked the squirrel feeder.
Oh, yes. Blue.
Of course, he told everybody that he ate squirrels on the Taco or something.
A whole group of kids.
Nice. Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's wonderful.
Yeah.
And he does just say the neatest things. Is he on safari? I think he's on safari. He's always telling us he's got these.
He has exciting things.
And so Michael Blue is an example. His backpack said blue. That's the name he wanted on there, and he came in earlier in the week. He got all his goodies in his backpack.
Do you still have where, like, if our students sign up and they forget to bring back their books, there's a free day for them to be like Free Friday or whatever?
Yes, there are 5 Free Friday, every Friday. And we
Okay.
encourage people, especially if you had something a long time and you feel like, what do I do? Just come by on a Friday. And all fines are waived on Fridays, no matter how large.
So that's a good thing to get out to the community, because a lot of people can come and get books, and even if they are a little bit late, they don't,
We'll forgive you.
exactly.
We'll forgive you. And we encourage you to come on Friday.
Yeah.
We don't, because we're really not so interested in collecting the fines as we are in getting the books into the next person's
Right.
hand. That's really our biggest concern. So when something's out, it's been out a while, if we're calling, it's just because somebody else is ready for it usually. So, are there any other questions about the summer reading program? Okay, so the last thing I'd like to tell you about is a little information about, so the West Virginia Library Commission has paid, and I only have one copy of these documents, so if you'd just like to look at them and pass them down. So the state of West Virginia has paid for a tutoring program through a company called tutor.com, and that is completely free for all West Virginians, and you're able to access with your public library card. So what we'd like to do, Sherry and I are planning in August. We would like to, I don't have the dates just yet for that, but we want to meet with the teachers first to talk to them about tutor.com and how it might be helpful to them in the classroom or with the students. And not just at the high school, middle school, but also at the elementary school. You'll notice in the packet all of the different topics that are covered. It's easy to sign up for, and it's all completely free. And if families wanted to come down to the library to utilize it, we can also offer additional assistance, help them get their account set up, help them access different things that could be helpful to them. We'd like to first present this to the teachers and then be present at the open houses to share this information with parents as well.
Looked like they had SAT and ACT tutoring too.
It does. It covers a very wide array of topics and all the way up into adult education as well. So it's newer to me, but it's been around for a little while now. This is something we have access to for free. I understand that the high school and middle school has a tutoring program that it already utilizes. So maybe we want to focus a little more at the elementary level with this program, or all across the board, but maybe that's a good place to start. So Sherry and I would like to be able to set up there in either at the elementary during the open house, and just to be able to share information about how families can access NetTutor. Two other things I'd just like to tell you about real quick is that in fall, we would like to start 2 new programs with the middle school, high school. I think it's really important, since we're right close connected to each other, that we should be trying to have joint efforts, especially in regards to reading. So 2 things I'd like to do. I'd like to start a book delivery service where we would actually deliver books up to the students. Now, they would have to be nominated to be, are referred to be part of it. So we're going to trust in our teachers to make sure they're referring the students that we know are going to be good participants. And then we would provide them with a catalog that they would be able to select from. We'll go up there every 2 weeks, deliver their selections, and pick up the previous 2 week selections. We would really like to get something like that started up at the middle school. Even if we could just get started at the middle school, it could grow from there.
Tony, that might be a good club.
We had a couple conversations, and I don't know if the partnership, if you guys have thought about this, but we used to place students that were work-based students and different work experience placements at the public library. So a junior or senior student could be placed there to work with the library on a daily basis. And hopefully, if everything works out okay, we will be in a position to be able to have somebody that can work, if you're willing to take on one of those students as a work experience, where they could work in a public library and help you do your daily tasks and be a liaison between the school and those types of things.
It's a wonderful idea.
So we will definitely be trying to build that partnership. That's through our career and work skills training. And we're trying to find different partnership groups, but that's being so close, a student can be right there.
So for the first time since I started, Mrs. Tina Foster brought her special needs students down, and I was just thrilled. We rolled the red carpet out for them because the teacher brought their students to the library on a field trip, and we were just ecstatic. So we would be honored and incredibly excited to partner in something along those lines.
Right.
Love to see students being able to access the library and use all of those resources, and then it would benefit us. But it would be a great benefit for them. It's all, especially along the lines of the work experience program. I think that's wonderful. We've toyed with the idea of having a junior librarian, and it wouldn't be a paid position. It would be a work experience type position. But we would like to actually teach them the ins and outs of what it means to work in that field. So that would be, we're very much interested in that. And then in connection with that, the last thing that I just want to throw out there for you is we'd like to start a book club with the 6th graders. Now, we're going to need buy-in from our teachers to really make it work. But we're willing to come up there, be physically on site, and do the activities, do the reading, run the club. But we would just like with the book delivery service, we need that buy-in from the teachers so that they could recommend the students to us that would be in book club. We would start with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and then we would work our way through the Harry Potter series as they rose up in grades. That's just a starter pack that could be changed. It could morph with what's popular, what they're into. They could vote and select their own book. There are lots of ways we can do it. But we have to start somewhere. So Harry Potter seems like a great start.
I think that's a good idea. I'd like to.
We definitely have had many conversations about getting our middle school kids reading, and I am all about trying to get the books into the middle school's hands. That's going to increase our test scores. We need to be able to have our kids reading on a daily basis, and we have time built into our upcoming schedule that just got approved last meeting to have a homeroom, to have time built in where we can kind of do the drop everything and read and have students read on a daily basis.
And that's really, with the Harry Potter book club, it would this is wonderful. I really do believe that reading is key to their progress in this
I agree.
regard, and I know it will make all the difference. So whatever the library can do to help promote what you're already doing, and then to add to that in any way, we are willing and ready to do that. So,
That's good.
and the Harry Potter Book Club, I think, could really work well. We have a lot of resources already, and I've already started purchasing, just in anticipation that we're hoping it can happen. We've already purchased a lot of the needed supplies. I purchased curriculum. We have lots of prizes. Because of our Harry Potter's birthday every July 31st, we have a lot of potential to make a big deal out of it and give the kids something, that little extra something, to keep them excited and interested. So these are the two things that I would really like to be able to partner with the public school on, and as far from our point of view and what we've come up with, but we're very excited to hear about what kinds of ways we can help out that you have already put together. So that's pretty much what I have for you today.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you
hard
very much,
work
ma'am.
and, yeah.
So thank you for your partnership.
Yeah.
Reimbursement of the utilities, that's a great help with the public library, and so we thank you.
Thank you very much for that. As a matter of fact, that is a vital aspect of our budget, that we receive those funds. So we can't thank you enough, really, for that reimbursement for our utility expenses. Thank you.
Thank you
Sherry.
very much.
Yep,
Thank
thank you.
And if you'll excuse me, I need to get to Lewis County
You're good to go.
by 6.
Mrs. West.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
There's just back there. I think there's one down there.
You
Oh,
can
we'll-
keep one
Okay,
if
we'll
you'd
keep
like to.
one,
Yep.
put it at the board
I'll send
office
it
if
down.
anybody wants to
Yep.
look at it.
Ladies, have a good evening. Be careful on your jaunt.
Okay. Heather, you're welcome to stay if you need to go. You can, yep, no problem either way.
Thank you for your time.
Alrighty, that'll move us into the consent agenda and we'll start with the approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 27th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 27th, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to bills for payment. Ginger, you have the floor.
Okay, I wanted to call to your attention that we do have Charleston Filter service on there, and we are receiving monthly billings now with them. But since that had been such an issue, I just wanted to draw your attention there. I don't foresee any other issues with them, hopefully. And I didn't really see anything else. Was there any questions?
Did that finish up the freezer project?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just didn't see anybody lately, so I didn't know what they were
I'm
doing.
Sorry, no, I would have to get Joe to give you an update, but no, we still have some more to go.
What do we have shared with Harrison County Board of Education? What is that?
That one is, Weavis Services, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we have like a tech person for that whole area, including us, and then we just cost share the cost of that, so we have a direct.
I think I've seen that before for some reason.
Make a motion to approve the bills for payment.
Second.
Alrighty, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the bills for payment. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, that'll take us into new business, and we'll start with approval of the 2025-2026 board meeting dates. Dr. Manning.
Well, they're listed there, and the only one that we didn't include would be, and I believe it's June 22nd, and I don't know, it seemed like the consensus was that we might have wanted to have a meeting on June 22nd of next year. So this year, currently, our next regular scheduled meeting, I would like to recommend making a motion to proceed to the first meeting in July as our next scheduled meeting date. That there's several people out right here at the end of June, and we kind of got all of our business in June on this meeting, so that would be something that you guys would need to vote on to have our next regular scheduled meeting, the first in July. And then following that, approve all of those dates that are listed there, 2 per month, except there being one in November, and we've done that in the past, and one in December, because that falls in the last week of both of those holiday seasons. And then include on that list the June 22nd at the end of next year.
Make a motion to have this meeting as our only June meeting and proceed to the first meeting of July as our next scheduled regular meeting.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to have this meeting as our only June meeting and proceed to the first meeting of July as our next scheduled regular meeting. And then is that also to approve the next year's
I
dates?
was
You
gonna
wanna
make
do
a
that?
separate one.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can do that. So, all right, the motion is just to make this our only June meeting and then to have the first meeting in July as our next scheduled regular meeting. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, now we're on the second motion to.
We make a motion to approve the proposed 2025-2026 Board of Education meeting dates as presented with the addition of June 22nd,
Mhm.
2026.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2025-2026 Gilmer County Board of Education meeting dates as presented with the addition of June 22nd added to that calendar. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
One question, February 10th is a Tuesday. I just didn't know why. I don't think
Probably
there's.
Martin Luther King Day.
It's an OS day, yeah. It would just be the next available day.
You check it.
I
Check it.
did check it.
Is it not Martin
It's on a
Luther King
holiday.
Day?
That's why I was asking.
No, that'd be
Okay.
January.
No, it's,
January 20th, first.
It's actually Super Bowl Monday.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Right.
I remember now.
That's right. Psst.
That was my only question.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty. On to the next new business item, Gilmer County Schools organizational chart. Dr. Manny.
this is something that we update every year. There is only one change to the organization here at the office, which would move CIS under the Human Relations Division, Director of Technology and Attendance. As you guys know, the CIS, we're directed, their direction from the state has been to focus on attendance. And we thought moving that, so we have a full attendance team working on attendance together, moving those 2 or 3 people that work as CIS under the attendance director was the right move. Rest of it is identical other than that move. No major changes other than those couple employees.
Make a motion to approve the Gilmer County Schools 2025-2026 organization chart.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the Gilmer County Schools 2025-2026 organizational chart. Is there any further discussion or amendment to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to approval of bills for payment arising from June 10th, 2025 through July 14th, 2025. Dr. Manny.
This just make a recommendation to motion to authorize the superintendent to approve bills for payment through July 14th. And it's necessary due kind of summer recess. A lot of us will be out. And then if all of those bills that are approved will then be presented to the board for ratification at the next regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to authorize the superintendent to approve bills for payment through July 14th, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. And we have approval of budget supplements and transfers arising from June 10th, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
Maybe a few grants that come in close to towards the end. It's just recommended to make a motion to authorize the superintendent to approve budget supplements and transfers through June 30th. And again, All supplements and transfer if approved by the superintendent will be presented to the board for ratification at the next regular meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. We accept the superintendent's recommendation to authorize the superintendent to approve budget supplements and transfers through June 30th, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to approval of Neola policy updates. Dr. Manning.
Included in your packet there are all the Neola policy updates. These are their standard updates that they do quarterly. And I don't know that you have any questions about any of them. We went through them as a Colts team, as a central office leadership team together, and went down and checked through all of these policies and kind of vetted each one of them and make sure that we didn't miss anything. And with that being said, I recommend making a motion to approve the corrected policies as revised by Neola.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the corrected policies as revised by Neola. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to approval to place policy 5505, academic honesty, on review.
Well, this is a new policy, and of course, we would have to review it. That Neola has created for us. It's about academic honesty, and it addresses cheating impact regarding emerging technologies. AI is here, and this addresses AI and students engaging in academic dishonesty and the accessibility. I recommend making a motion to place it 5505 academic honesty on a 30-day public review and let the community see it, and you guys read it and see if you come up with anything that's
Well,
different.
I read through it, and I just think this is difficult territory to navigate.
It is.
You know, I don't know that anybody knows the right answer to this, but I think, how are you going to determine? Because I realize that you can like feed something through AI to see if.
Yeah,
But,
you
know,
we
so
will-
are you letting AI decide?
we
if
would
you
have to have a
cheated,
tool.
or-
We would have to have a tool of some sort, like universities have.
Those are, if you're, the programs that they have out there to deal with that. If I go to Google and I do my own research, it will kick me out. I know this personally, having to defend somebody in said type case. I don't mind the policy, but I don't think feeding it through a computer program and letting one computer determine whether or not.
It's academic honesty or not. You know, we've
so-
kind of given the teachers AI is a tool, and our kids are going to use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's okay. And that's okay. This would be for somebody that kind of blatantly cheats, that you understand they're cheating. We've kind of said as a central office leadership team, hey, if you want to test the kids' writing ability, have them handwrite it. If you want to allow them to use tools, it's okay to use AI on an assignment. You know, AI is going to be involved in all of education, in all sectors of education, just like it is in any other person's work. I think that this is for the blatant, obvious person that is using AI.
Right.
To
What
just
I'm fearful is that,
get work done.
I hope that we work just as much teaching them how to use it
Mhm.
as we do deterring them to use
like
it for
we're not
getting
here.
grades. But,
Because
because it's big.
dear old me, I would just give it an IBIT and give it
direction
credit for and cite it as where I got part of my research, and I'm not plagiarized anything. I gave credit for it.
Right.
Then if I did that, it don't matter where it generated the whole thing or not. The only question I really have, the only problem is the teacher questioning me and then I got to produce proof, or are they going to enter it into the computer and another computer is going to say,
Well, that's,
We
is
haven't got,
how do we determine?
we haven't got that
right,
far
that's
yet.
my,
Yeah.
they're right, but I mean, those are questions.
You know,
that
do
are
we
gonna-
need an AI tool that, or do we need an AI detector? We haven't gotten that far yet. We have to see whether or not, I think, whether we want an academic on it. I mean, there are kids that use it, I'm sure. I don't know that we have a horrible problem with it. I think Neola's creating this because it's used vastly across other districts. And there are places that do have horrible problems with it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah, I
that it's a
just think
major
this is-
problem in our system. I haven't heard any, I don't know if you guys have heard any major complaints. I've not heard of any major complaints with,
And then one concern
AI.
I had reading through it is that this policy might allow a teacher to accuse a student of cheating
Yeah.
or
There's just not a lot of new stuff.
based
out
on
there.
their interpretation of,
Mhm.
I just think it's awfully gray. I don't know what to do about it, but I think it's awfully gray and I think everybody's having the same trouble. And I think a lot of the universities, you might know, Cody, are going to just saying, well, you know, you can use AI as a source, but
I mean, they do, and they're telling them to cite it, and they run through those checkers. But you know, like Larry said, I mean, I had one of those same situations. You know, oh well, this says so much of this paper is
right.
70% plagiarism. Well, that's a computer versus a computer. Which computer's right in a court of law? How's that going to work out?
and I don't know
Because you're
how
going to
much
get
of
to
it's-
that kind of battle eventually over.
I don't know how much of it's true, but like with Caitlin applying to vet schools, I followed the threads and stuff with the students, and they'd be like, I wrote my personal statement and then I ran it through that AI checker and it said 80% of it was AI or something.
Yeah.
And
Everything's been done though.
So
I mean, everything is.
I don't know. I just,
You know, the way I see it, we have a big dual credit program as well. That's one of the reasons why I felt like we probably do need to have some type of academic
do we
on.
know what the university does? What Glenville State does?
I'm sure that they have an AI checker.
Yeah.
Do you know what they use?
Well, the one when I was in school, it was turnedin.com. And then then you could run it through, and they had a subscription or whatever, but they could have changed that by now. I mean, that's been 4 or 5
But
years.
we have a lot of courses that are dual credit, and we're going to have some way to be able to tell if they're honest with their coursework or not.
I think it just goes back to what you teach kids is, working more on critical thinking and stuff more than just regurgitating things. Because
Well, yeah,
there's
asking
stuff
their
that
opinion or.
you can, if you're going to actually understand a topic, you're going to understand the topic, and AI is not, you can't fake what you know. And you got sources, you got to prove, because even sometimes the AI is completely wrong. So they can spit out totally made up stuff that's not even accurate at all. So having additional sources, you're going to go, well, is that really what that said? And maybe that is more work for the teacher, but they'll develop. You'll have to fine tune it.
Yeah, and I think we're thinking only about the AI that writes, but AI doesn't just write.
Right.
Sure.
Now it does math. Now it makes pictures. Now it makes
code.
videos.
Well, I'll
Now it
just tell
makes.
You
You
can
can-
ask it multiple choice questions and it'll tell you.
Yeah,
A, B, or
yeah,
C.
Yeah.
It'll code.
And why.
It'll
Writes
code for you. So it's not just writing a paper anymore, and that's what I'm saying. Some of it you can run through the checker, but some of it's going to be you're going to have to know the level of student. If you give a student a slideshow to make, and they've made an elementary slideshow their whole entire time, and all of a sudden they've got this college-bound slideshow with all these sources and everything laid out, it adds to
But,
a
to Brett's
suspicion.
point, you've got people out there using what's the new Google one, the one that
I
it
used
makes
to
like
use ChatGPT.
complete movie-like quality videos out of it, and
Right.
people could make. Now it's an art tool. You might not even be able to do art yourself, but you can if you can work the AI tool enough, you can.
I just think it's the way the industry is going, and we should try to learn from it just as much as we're scared of.
Well, my girl showed me this. I can't even remember what it is, but you just take a picture of the math problem and it shows you how
Oh,
to
yeah.
work it. because I had to teach myself seventh grade
You'd be
math
surprised
again.
with your Google camera.
You'll just have to
Oh,
go
yeah.
back to
Take a
the,
picture of a math problem with Google camera.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we'll just have to go back to the 1970s method. Slide out and-
Well,
Slide.
but part of, that's kind of kidding, but part of it comes down to this. It's like defending your master's thesis. You know, I have a paper, and if I were making a kid do a research paper, I'm going to not only grade it, I'm going to have them present, and I'm going to ask questions. And if they didn't do the work,
right.
then it's
Well,
going to
and
be
Google
obvious that they didn't do it. So,
And it can show you how to do your math problems
yes,
all at once, but if you have to take that
Yes.
testing class without it, which I liked it because it retaught me seventh grade math, but
A lot of them will actually break it down and show
Yeah,
you.
no,
what
but I
it's
mean-
it did, it
Yeah,
did,
which is
yeah.
Well,
fine.
sometimes when you're
Which is
trying to
good.
cheat, you end up learning more because you have to actually look at it to cheat, you know? So-
right.
You definitely learn from AI, but this also has the piece in there that the teacher we want to use AI. We
Yeah.
want to teach using AI, but this is for specific instances where the teachers don't give the permission to use AI.
Well, and I think this comes down to, it's good to have a policy in place. You're probably going to have a more fine-tuned,
Yeah.
per school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
actual how they're going to implement it.
Yeah, I'd be more
Once-
interested in
once
the
they-
punishment for, breaking said policy, like what does that look like? Are we,
It's there.
It's in here,
It's in
yeah.
there. Yeah, it's in there.
Well, and that was my big concern.
It's not much
is-
different than our punishment now for cheating. It's about the same as what our
Is
punishment.
if a teacher chooses that she's going to run it through something and that something says it's AI and
And you
can
can,
she just take that and
Well, there's
say you cheated?
you can limit access to stuff at school too. So, I mean,
there is there's also going to have to be a process for appeal.
right.
Should
when
we
we do
maybe think about this one a little bit, flesh it out some over the summer or with the
More than welcome to.
administrative groups, the Colts and.
This is just a draft. We don't, this is just.
We're not.
This would go out on comment. We would have
Yeah,
to, we would have
We're gonna put
to.
this out on comment, which means we'd adopt
This
it in
is
30
one that
days.
Neola adopted. There's lots of districts adopting this one, but we don't,
And I'm
we
just
can-
not sure if
we
this
can
was
table
ready
it and put together and really read through it and put together some comments, what we want added, or an appeal process that we want added to it.
And I think an appeal
It's-
process, like I'm saying, like a procedure at the school level, that address it, like this is a good foundation, but like tactically, how are you going to handle stuff?
I mean, do we want to just pass this the way it is and put it out there for whatever to happen, or do we want to flesh it out a little more first?
It's up to whoever puts a motion to the floor, that's.
Well, if we don't have any concept of what this group wants, my opinion, then 30 days, we're going to come back and then we're going to be really debating is this needs out of here, this needs in here, this needs that. So it's something we need to come up with some kind of a concept of where I think what we will tolerate, for a better term, what we would approve and we're willing to back as a group, then that's what needs to be put out there because we've kind of made our decision. Because Neola, if you look at it, it's AI. Run it through any checker and that's what it's going to tell you. It's not based on.
Okay, I make a motion to postpone putting policy 5505 about academic honesty on the 30-day public review until we can get input from the administrative teams, which would include principals, and as to their feedback on how they feel that AI cheating can be determined and an appeal process for students.
All right, do we have a record of that? Because I'm not going to try to repeat it.
I don't know. Making it up as I go.
Okay, Lisa's got it. So, all right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor to vote on. Is there any further discussion to that main motion or amendments to the motion?
I do think this is important though.
Me too.
Just gotta get it right.
That's what I'm saying, that's where.
And if I can, one of the very last things, if you look at the appeal process, is students enter parent appeals of disciplinary consequences resulting from violation of this policy may be made within 5 business days to the principal, whose decision shall be final. If the principal was the staff member responsible for disciplinary consequence, then the student or parent appeal should be directed within 5 business days to the district administrator, whose decision shall be final. That's what it is now. Now, I don't know if that's what we want it to be, but that's what it is. So
I just think we need more. How are we going to determine, number one, how are we going to determine that you cheated with AI and, know something about how often that's actually right?
that'll take a little research to
Oh, yeah.
figure out what
I mean,
we're
I
going to
think
use.
we too may reach out to the Rachel
Yeah.
Clutter at the college
I'd
and
probably
say
start
how
with the
many of
colleges.
these.
We probably want to
classes have
align with
you-
what the college uses because
Yeah.
honestly, we have so many shared courses
Mhm.
that it wouldn't make sense for us not to.
Figure the colleges are probably all getting together in one. But now I talked to a professor from Wesleyan, and she told me that instead of fighting it, she's encouraging them to use it within parameters.
That's what I said, we should be
Yeah.
just having, like assignments, like. use
Well, like I
it.
said, it's not plagiarism if you give credit.
Well, and the teachers obviously
And who
need to
came
be
up
on
with
board
the real
too.
idea too, the base idea,
As long
You can't just say, write me a book or write me a paper.
No.
You have to tell it, the
Right.
parameters and what.
but like I said, if you look at the definition of plagiarism, if I give credit to a direct quote or even part of a quote, I give credit to wherever that source was, then I haven't plagiarized. It's when I don't give credit, I have plagiarized.
It's
But-
just a tricky.
But anyway, like I said, I think this will give us time to get our opinions
Think
together.
on it.
Yes.
Any other discussion to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, we're on to approval to rescind policy 8640, transportation for curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular county-sponsored trips. Dr. Manning.
Policy 2340, field trips and other extracurricular county-sponsored trips, was revised in this last update to include transportation options and provisions found in policy 8640. So they kind of combined those two policies into one. Therefore, policy 8640 was suggested by Neola to be rescinded as a standalone policy. The language from policy 8640 is included in policy 2340. And I make the recommendation to make a motion to rescind policy 8640 and utilize 2340 as our standalone transportation policy for curricular and extracurricular events, noting that I've had discussions to leave out one piece that is the check mark under the section that says no student is allowed to drive on any trip. An exception may be made by the principal on an individual basis, provided the student's parents provide written authorization and release from liability. That was an option that was checked in our old one that we would probably recommend to uncheck. But other than that, the rest of everything else that's in there is included in the.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to rescind policy 8640 and to utilize policy 2340 as our standalone transportation policy for curricular and extracurricular trips, with the removal of the check mark of.
Allowing the students an exception to drive themselves, authorized release of liability.
Gotcha. Any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
So was 2340 updated? Do we have an updated one? Okay. I didn't see it in the update list, so I'm assuming it was a while ago. But
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. On to approval of the workers' compensation carrier for 25-26.
I've got a memo here as a recommendation to approve Encova Insurance Company as our carrier for workers' compensation insurance for the fiscal year of 2025-26. Encova was not the lowest bidder. However, they have exceptional customer service on the employer side. And for employees, if they unfortunately need workers' compensation, they also provide a comprehensive list of free safety trainings to protect employees to minimize the risk in future years. The cost difference was like $2,000. Encova is one of those companies that I've personally sat through their trainings. I don't know, you guys may have too, was the SBA. They come in and they assess your risk and they do prevention management. And I think that it's worth a long-term commitment to our worker compensation over time. So that's the recommendation. Ginger made that recommendation to me, and I'd like to make that recommendation for you guys to motion to approve Encova Insurance Company as our carrier for workers' compensation for the fiscal year 25-26.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to improve Encova Insurance Company as our carrier for workers' compensation insurance for the fiscal year 2025-2026 as recommended by the superintendent and the county treasurer. Is there any further discussion?
Is that our current one? So it's a change.
I thought you told us about this a week or two. Didn't we talk about this? No? Oh, okay.
I think that was changing auditors or something.
Yeah.
Okay, any other
This is
discussion?
one we have to do every year. I am hopeful that, once we have Encova back in the county, that they will continue to bid and be reasonable.
Okay, all righty, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty, we do have an old business item, and that is consideration or possible action of extending the attendance bonus to service personnel. Dr. Manning.
So crunch some numbers. This would be a very good incentive for our service personnel next year. This would be based upon all service personnel, not just 200-day employees, but all service personnel. And it would be for the consideration of them missing less than 2% of their employment contract. So a 230-day employee could miss no less than 4.5, and a 250-day they would have to miss 5 days or less, and they would receive the attendance incentive bonus for service personnel. It's going to be costly, and it's something that I recommend that we look at on a yearly basis. And the reason why I say that is because I don't want to put future boards at risk of not being able to do this. But for next year, we have the capability to do it. And I make a recommendation for you all to approve the implementation of expanding the attendance incentive bonus for service personnel not to exceed 2% of the individual service person employment contract effective for the 25-26 school year, and reconsider this on a yearly basis based on the district budget and fiscal needs.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the implementation of an expanded attendance incentive bonus for service personnel not to exceed 2% of the individual service personnel employment contract effective for the 2025-2026 school year, and reconsider on a yearly basis based on the district budget and fiscal needs. Any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty, on to personnel. Dr. Manning.
Just have one piece there under service. It's a recommendation for Karen Miller, special education classroom transportation aide, Gilmer County Elementary School.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept Karen Miller as special education classroom transportation aide at Gilmer County Elementary School. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Alrighty, that'll finish personnel. We have nothing under continuous improvements or the superintendent's update. Dr. Manning.
First update, I handed this out. These are a follow-up on the repeat offender list for students that were repeat offenders. This is the Weavis kind of graph for the high school and the elementary school. And if you got any additional questions, you can see the graph moves in the right direction. And there's a handful of students there that have over 6 or 7 referrals, but it looks like the discipline process, the ALC, and those types of things are working very well. And I just wanted to give you a clarification. I was supposed to hand those out last time, but I did not, but I did it this time. I want to say congratulations to our baseball team on their effort. They really did a great job this year. Very proud, young team. And I think we can expect to see a lot more good things to come from our baseball program. I want to thank the board members for attending our end of the year teacher and staff celebration. I thought that it was well received, and the teachers and staff liked being kind of on our home turf. It was kind of nice they were a little bit more relaxed and kind of we're proud of each other for the awards they received and those types of things. So I really appreciate you guys being there for that. Just a quick reminder, our next meeting will be July 14th. Some of the current things we have going on this week, we got end of the year data collections and Weavis collections and things like that. Just wanted to give you an update. We're tidying up all those end of the year data collection for both schools and the district. So we've got that going on, and then hopefully we'll be tied up and submitted, and the whole year will be closed out as far as data. That is all that I've got.
Alrighty, that'll move us into board member comments. We'll start with Mr. Chapman.
Mr. Minnie, or Dr. Minnie already said just congrats to the baseball team. It making it as far as they did, that takes a lot of hard work. And I just commend them on that work they did.
Alrighty, I just again like Brett, congratulations baseball team. Looks like we're getting things done, and we just need to keep on moving forward. Dr. Miller.
Wrapping up a fantastic year for Gilmer County Schools, and expect even better next year. So a lot to look forward to, a lot of exciting things happening in the county, and thanking everyone for their hard work and getting us to where we are.
Mr. Fresher.
Sounds like it's all been said.
Ditto.
And Mr. Barton.
Ditto on the compliments to the athletic teams and to the teachers and students. Academically, I think we're headed in the right direction. I think we did quite well this year, and I look for better things for coming up. And for board members to consider this, I did a little homework. One of the things we're thinking about was graduation. This present year, there were 2 schools in West Virginia that had graduation the week prior. There are 2 schools that had it on Wednesday. There are 15 that had it on Thursday. But the Thursday that we were talking about has also been the FFA banquet forever. There are 48 schools that had it the week after. Now, for me, that affects track's gone, but that affects baseball and softball. So for me, that's not an option. And there were 6 schools, and most of them are LK schools, that had it on Sunday. And there were 10 schools that their kids had graduation at Laley Field. There was over 30 kids. So something for dates that we were pondering. So that's the information I came up with. So that's something else to think about. But like I said, I'm really proud of all of our staff and for our kids, because we ask a lot and they answered the call. So have a great summer.
Alrighty, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Alrighty, it's been properly moved second. We adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
I was thinking we need to get you a little radio spoof for the doctor's office down there. Hey, this is Hillary Miller.
She's got that at the house.
Yeah.